episode of the Guy Talk Pod, where we are honest, open, and transparent. We have another great episode for you today. I got my people with me today. Marcus, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
What's
How you
happening,
doing?
man?
Good, good.
How you doing?
Ready for this next episode?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got Mr. Willie Brooks with us.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
How you doing, Moms?
Man, we are blessed and it cannot be reversed.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Amen
sir.
to that.
Yes, sir.
We are excited to have you. Got so much to talk about. You're doing a lot of great things right now in terms of the community, in terms of human trafficking, which we'll get to in a second. You know, so really thank you for carving out time to meet with us today and
Yes, sir.
to bless the episode. I think it's an important topic. There's so many capacities, especially around each of us being fathers, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, so, again, everyone, Willie Brooks, today's topic is human trafficking, saving our children, saving our sons, saving our daughters. But we're also got some other special dialogue to talk about. And we'll get to that in a second. Some things that Mr. Willie Brooks has going on. But if you've been watching us, you know we always set the foundation with the scripture. And today's scripture comes from John 15:12-15. And I love the NLT version. So I'm reading from the NLT. It's my favorite. It just resonates with me very well. So again, John 15:12-15. John 15:12-15. This is my commandment. Love each other in the same way I have loved you. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friend. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you slaves because our master doesn't confide in his slaves. Now you are my friends since I have told you everything the Father has told me. And just really meditating and praying over this episode, as it relates to human trafficking, how it impacts our children, right? So, Willie, before we dive into tell the people who you are, what you do, and how you got into anti-human trafficking.
Again, I'm Willie Brooks. Been in law enforcement going into my 20th year. And what got me into human trafficking when the first movie came out of Taken. And I thought it was just a movie, but then when I started doing research on human trafficking, I'm like, this is real. And, just what can I do now to help, identify human trafficking, especially being in the school system now for 18 years and being a school resource officer, DARE officer. How can I bring awareness to our community? And so I just started doing my own seminars, gathering information, doing my own seminars and sessions, just bringing awareness to the community.
That's awesome. That is awesome. What is like the current state of human trafficking? What are you seeing in that line of work in terms of, where it's happening, kind of how it happens, and how we even know that it's happening,
Right. And I'm glad you asked that question because if you're not educated, you're going to hear educated or education probably throughout this session. If you it's just like the drug game. If you don't know of the drug game, you can't identify the drug game. So it can be going on right into happening in your neighborhood. So with trafficking, if you're not educated, it's a silent thing. So, but you see it mostly in group homes. It's even I might be jumping the gun. It happened during Super Bowl in Tampa, Florida, where a pastor was arrested with 79 other individuals during Super Bowl in Tampa. A pastor was arrested involved in human trafficking. So, and I'll get more into that because being able to explain how do you identify it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think we should dive right into it. Like so if I'm at the store, if I'm at the Walmart, right? And I know there are memes that go around and jokes that people say in terms of if you see this white van, call the police that the white van looks a certain type of way, right? Mm-hmm. But in reality, that's probably not how that human trafficking thing looks. So how can you make yourself aware? What are some signs that it's transpiring, I guess? Or are you seeing a child that probably is a victim of that?
The white van, that's what they make human trafficking look like. If you know, and I know you use Walmart as an example. Let me say a departmental store because I don't want to get in trouble with Walmart.
Right.
So let's say a departmental store, wherever that may be, being taken at a departmental store, the mall is not the number one place. That's mostly the place where you're probably being identified at or you're being noticed at. So let's say if a pedophile see you at Walmart, he likes you. It can be male or female. Well, it starts there. So now let's say that they follow you. They follow you to your vehicle. They take a picture. We actually on my social media page, I shared what a young lady said that she was at the mall, and a guy took a picture of her license plate. Well, why would they take a picture of your license plate? I'm glad you asked, because human trafficking is a $150 billion industry. So you take a law enforcement officer that's making $12, $13 an hour that needs more money. Well, if you have a trafficker that can pay him $2,000 or $3,000 just to run a license plate. Now I know where your 18-year-old daughter go to school, or where she live, or your wife. And I just come to your house and now I start studying you, seeing when you by yourself, and then that's how it takes place. So just ruling out taking you at the store, taking you at the mall, that's a lot of Hollywood. So it's just educating yourself on the pattern that they use on taking you, because it's not just all of a sudden. Another thing, where are your children at when they're outside playing? You know, my children cannot play in the front yard at all unless I'm there. I don't watch them out the window anymore. I'm there. My backyard fenced in now, because that's where I can feel comfortable with them being at, so I know that, they're in a safe place.
So what do you see in terms of the children? Are they being, to me, it's kidnapping and slavery, and that may not be the best parallel or comparisons, but as I was, preparing and getting the scripts together, it reminded me of like, this is another form of like slavery, and what type of fields of work, I hate to even call it that you are seeing that the children are involved in, all the victims of who the trafficking did. But we always hear about the prostitution side. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of the highest type of area in which why human trafficking occurs, or are there more other areas more prevalent?
Yeah, sex trafficking or prostitution is the highest of trafficking that's occurring, because what a lot of people don't know, especially when you see this cast, that you don't hear about too many drug busts anymore. You used to always hear about drug busts going on in neighborhoods. You don't hear about, why is that? Because drug dealers are now giving up selling drugs, and they're now selling people, or selling people for sex. So and what they're doing now, you can take one girl, and I'm gonna get to your question, or the answer to that question. You can take one girl and sell her from 10 to 25 times in one day. Between $200 to $300 per person. So what they're doing is that they're selling more women or girls, now making more money. So now what we must do, again, going back to educating ourselves, because let me back up. Let me go to the group homes. I know a lot of people can't handle me when it comes to me educating on human trafficking. Group homes is one of the biggest things, biggest places dealing with sex trafficking, because you have individuals that are there that don't have family. Yeah. Parents then gave them over to the state. So one thing about me being an SRO in a school, if I see a 13, 14-year-old at school with new Jordans on, hair's done all the time, or as we know in the African American community, a new unit every month, nails are blinging. Well, your $400 or $500 that the state's giving you to stay in that group home is not buying that. So that means somebody's paying you or giving you money. The question now is why. She could be being trafficked voluntarily. Human trafficking is not always against
Yeah.
involuntarily. Another trafficking, which one of the things that you was kind of coming around to is labor trafficking. Labor trafficking is big. We've seen the traffic bust. I seen several of them local. I actually had a young lady. Uh, I can safely say she goes to used to go to Miracle Place Church in Baker. She called me early one Sunday morning headed to church in Baton Rouge. She says, I just saw this guy pull up to a local uh, uh, she was going to the donut shop and she was pulling up to the local donut shop, but this guy was going through the back door of a massage parlor on a Sunday morning around what she said 6 a.m. She called me. I reported it. I know a guy that works for state police. He says, yes, we're watching that because you have people that's in there that's being trafficked.
So what are the prevention strategies there? So I hear that, and we, thank you for those educational components. But what are folks in your line of work? How y'all combating human trafficking? What are some of the strategies to prevention?
Let me. I'm trying to be careful with my response. It's, number one is being educated, but number two is putting action to what you're learning. I can say this: I'm tired of being in circles or arenas where we're being educated on it, but nobody's putting boots to the ground. That's a big deal. It sounds good when you're in a group of people and you're learning, but it's really, Mr. Grant, putting boots to the ground. Number one, once you identify it, then when you see it, you go deal with it. And the reason why I say this, anything that I say, it's not because I went and investigated it myself. It's things that I may have seen on WBRZ or WFB, which is our local news channel here in the Baton Rouge area. There was a gentleman that lived right down the street from where my children were going to daycare at. Was arrested 3 times for trafficking. Okay, 3 times. This is what, it, huh? And released out of jail right now. But I get and I mentioned it in one, yeah, and I mentioned it to some of the local officials, and their response were, "I'm just trying to scare the people." Well, you don't want to let nobody know, well, I would, but a lot of times you'll find officials don't want to let nobody know about this because, hey, people not going to want to move to our area. So these are things that we're dealing with, and the guy's still out.
Wow.
He gets out because it's a big money thing.
Are you seeing any, as it relates to male and female victims, age ranges of those victims? What do you see mostly? Is it female more prevalent than male? And if there is the males, what are they being kind of? Are they sex workers too, or are they? What is the recruitment? Why are they recruiting?
It's mostly female. Most of it is, and you got to look at the different regions or the different areas, and the different ethnicities. When you start talking about the African American community, it'll be mostly females. You don't see too many small children like the ages of 5 and 6 being trafficked locally in this area. It's mostly teenagers, and women up to maybe age 40, 45 years old that's being sex trafficked. When you start dealing with children from ages 5 to 10, usually those are being taken and sent out of country or to another state, and they're being sold to people that are just sick, that wants a small kid. When it comes to male, you do have people that have preferences. They may want a little boy, and that fact that brings me to another thought with the movie Sounds of Freedom, which is now on Amazon. I advise everybody to look at that movie first without your children. Then if you feel like it's something your kids need, my children saw it because what people don't understand, all it takes is 48 hours to get a child out this country. So you definitely need to watch your children, but they mostly want women in our area because of just the sex trafficking part of it. So when ethnicity wise, so when you're talking about the Asian community, you're dealing with more of the labor trafficking, Asian and Hispanic community. So what happens if you take let's say if you take a Hispanic person, male or female, and they're looking for they seek asylum. Well, you get them here, and you finally get you take their green card, as they say, and you force them to do whatever, if it's sex trafficking or labor, and you tell them, well, you got to work for me for a year, and then I'll give you your card, or I'll tell them that you're not legal here, and I'll turn you in. So we see that a lot, where they're being forced into labor, forced into sex trafficking. Another thing is whenever you find a young lady, 14, 15 years old. Actually, I had a survivor that spoke at my last human trafficking session, talking about how they will impregnate these women and they'll take their baby and tell them, you have to do this for 5 years and then we'll release this child to you. Yeah, so that's another way that they enslave them.
It's almost like it's a modern day slavery in a sense.
Yes.
And I know in my line of work as a truck driver, they tell us all the time, if you see something, report it.
Mm-hmm.
Because and they give us the different things to look for, kids or people that look like they're out of place. Because sometimes they people get dropped off in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
When you're useless, when we had enough of you that drop you off, those people sometimes are full of drugs because they drug them up to keep them where they need them at. It's a mind thing. It's a mind control. So, and it's not just girls, like you say, it's our boys too, because a lot of these little kids, they being turned out, they being touched and molested and so forth and so on. So those are things that's definitely happening.
Rick, do you see, are there any legislative or policies that are being put in place to kind of have a more focus for youth trafficking?
Well, back in 22, I think we're just coming out of technically out of the pandemic, and so former First Lady Donna Edwards put together a collaborative with first ladies from all over the country, governors' wives, and put together a collaborative to fight human trafficking. So there are some laws that are put in place. I can't just recall the penalties right now of those laws, but there are some laws that's put in place. But again, the thing is those laws being enforced. And I'm back to training again. You have so many different divisions in these police agencies, but you don't hear about human trafficking division, because what you may think is a child running away may have been a child that was abducted for kidnapped or for trafficking. So it's again being educated on knowing the difference. Another thing, well, you go ahead. Something else.
No, no, this is good. I want to pivot a little bit because I know you got some great things going on, and we definitely want to bring you back to the human trafficking. Trafficking. I am interested in that. I know Marcus is as well. Just for us as fathers,
Yeah.
I think we have set, not we here in this room, but many of us, we look at that maybe as just being kind of, I don't know, 90-100% female. But I know, as you said earlier, it impacts young boys and men as well.
Mm-hmm.
And really talk about what those statistics look like from a male-female perspective. We got to have you back.
I think we
more part two.
Just jump on one thing
before
we switch off. I think there needs to be a conversation. How do we protect our children and our neighbors' children and the children around us? Because this is being that this is a real issue, and this is a podcast for men to talk about male issues. How do we protect that? Because most of the time, men, we're at work, we're out doing things, trying to make sure we're providing for the family. But protection is another important role of our position.
That's right on. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. When you factor in how often are we at the house? During the hours of which they probably are praying, so to speak.
Yeah, and so we can't make our kids be hostages in the house because of that.
Right.
So what is it? And I mean, they have friends. They want to go to the movies. They want to go to the mall. What do you suggest that we do in order for protection of our kids? Because I mean, most guys I know, most men I know, we would kill somebody behind our children.
That's right.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Right.
And wouldn't mind whatever consequences come
come
along with it. Yeah. So
right.
before we get to that point, how do we protect them? What's some things that you guys suggest that we protect our kids?
Yeah, definitely know the parents of the kids that your children are hanging with. Because our age, we definitely had a village. So if my children going to hang out, or I'm gonna drop them off at the mall, I need to make sure that I know the parents, not just the child, but I need to know that your daddy crazy too.
Okay, right.
Yeah, just like I'm gonna get you, just like I know her daddy's gonna get the same thing. So, and then being able to trust them to make the right decisions. If you're going to the mall, you stay at the mall. You don't talk to everybody. Don't leave the mall and go somewhere else. You stay there, and just trusting your instinct and being able to hey, if you see something strange, you go find a police or security, and it may be nothing, but being able to deal with it, because we can go on forever. I can tell you about some of the things that go on in the women's bathrooms at malls, and you don't know who's waiting, what woman waiting there for your daughter. So now you have to go in there with a friend.
I had an experience like that. We were on vacation. I think we were coming back from Alabama, and we stopped for one of our daughters to use the restroom. Went into the restroom. I was like, initially I was just going to grab some snacks while she went to the bathroom. And something told me, no, go in there with them. We went to the bathroom. There was a Hispanic gentleman in there. Lo and behold, he and I had some back and forth. And I really thought I was about to break his neck in there. I really hurt him bad, because you could see the spirit of perversion in it. You could see that he was waiting on a victim, and talked to the caterers, the people they knew. He was in there. They didn't know he was in there, but their response was, they do that all the time. Wow. Not they in terms of ethnicity, so I want to back that up. It's not they're saying Hispanic folks do this, but in terms of perverted men or men waiting for children to come in there, yes. There are people that are doing that all the time where they have to run them off the property. Yep. This guy and I literally had some words back and forth in Spanish and in English, where I really thought I was about to go to jail in Alabama. But it shows you the levels they'll go to kidnap, to human traffic, and be mindful, parents, as you are traveling. I don't let any of my kids go to the bathroom by themselves anymore. Right. None of them. Either my wife is going in there with them, restaurants, or I'm going in with them. I don't care if men or women's bathroom. I know that may sound strange, but for my daughters, it's an extra layer of protection, because as many fathers will probably agree, we will definitely take someone's life behind our children, and not regardless of the consequences. So I want to pivot a little bit, Brooks. I know you got a special.
He still wanted to talk about the protection part for the kids.
I just want to throw this part in, and I'm gonna let you take it. One more thing, because I know we can go all day on human trafficking. Be careful of your children when they have their headphones on playing games. This is definitely a measure of protection, because online gaming. I'm gonna give you this real quick. I was past tense a foster parent, and I had some kids living with me. I woke up at 1 a.m, thought I had a man in my house. I'm the only man that live in my house. And I heard the kid talking to the man. He didn't have the headsets on this time. I'm glad he didn't. And the man's asking him questions. So I grabbed my gun and I'm going to the room at ready gun. And come to find, so the guy was asking so many questions, and he asked him what school. He told him the school. He asked him what was his name. He told him his name. And then he says, well, where do you live, little buddy? Well, I live at, and I yelled, hey! He was getting ready to tell this man that he was playing online Roblox where he lived. So can you imagine what would have happened if he had headsets on? I wouldn't have heard it.
No, that's good. We definitely got to have you back, Brooks, to talk about human trafficking. This is a big deal. I don't think we should have just a part one to this.
Yes.
If you don't buy it, we definitely want to let allow you to come back to talk on this again. But I want to pivot to something that our brother here, Willie Brooks, is running for Baker Chief of Police.
Sir.
To those that are watching that don't reside in Louisiana or reside specifically in the Baton Rouge or surrounding areas, Baker is a city within Louisiana where Mr. Brooks has confirmed his candidacy for Baker Chief. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
On that. And I don't want to exit the show without Marcus and I talking to you about that. What kind of motivated you to throw your hat in, so to speak, for Chief of Police at Baker?
Well, again, from what I've been, I'm a certified human trafficking instructor through the governor's office, and the way we police 20 years ago has changed because the crime has changed. So seeing the trafficking, so bringing my education to this department is definitely needed when it comes to trafficking, internet safety, getting these guys up to date on the training, on different policies. So because all those things changes, we have to change. So I want to be able to bring this to the city of Baker because we have had some occurrences there, so we can make this place a safer place for our children when it comes to these type of crimes.
Gotcha. So that's part of like kind of your leadership philosophy. If you were to elect, that would be your leadership philosophy.
That would be my number one thing: sex trafficking and gangs. Oh my, yeah,
gangs are real big now. Not only in Baker, but in the Baton Rouge area.
Yes. Yeah, you are seeing an uptick where our youth don't want it to be involved in gangs or in some way, some capacities, created their own gang.
Yes.
You know, I don't know, to seem like, they're this tough guy image, I guess, and where they can, I don't know, do this to social.
Well, just, parents are busy now. Parents are busy with work
trying to, take care of bills, and so they don't really have a lot of time with their children, so they're finding that comfort being around other friends. And so if it's being a part of a gang, that's what it is. Just like you have older guys, they want to be, they don't find that security, so they want to be in a fraternity. That's my brotherhood. So that's what they're looking for.
So what's your plans for like the community involvement? Whereas there may be some folks that are maybe very involved into the community aspect of Baker, but some that may have, like many communities, have simply just given up. They don't have trust in the police. They don't have trust in the philosophy. They don't have trust that they'll see things through. How do you plan to kind of change the mindset of the community to get better engagement from the community?
Well, community policing, that's one thing. One of the things that I would love to implement is bicycle patrolling. That gives that officer time to be able to ride around. You see Miss Thelma, I'm going to use that name, on the porch drinking lemonade. You go up there, you talk to her, let her feel comfortable with who you are. You pass that car, you'll be amazed of how the crime rate will go down. Or you can close different cases because she may not come out there on that scene, but she gonna remember you coming to her house, talking to her, and she gonna call you. Hey, that boy lived down the street. That's your person. So just basically getting out there, knowing the people, and just spending time with them.
That's a good point. All of us here, we talked about it a little bit off camera. A big proponent of relationships.
Yes.
And I think with the police, a lot of folks feel that there's no relationship there. You feel that it's always something, whereas we hear about black on black crime, right? Where, where's the preventions there? Police brutality, what are the preventions there? Stereotype, what are the preventions there? What are some of the, because you're going to have people that follow under you, they're going to be from all ethnic background, but may not think the same.
Correct.
Maybe a police officer in uniform, but their mentality around things may be different. How are you going to encourage and educate them to avoid, things such as stereotyping, and change the certain narratives around young men, specifically young black men?
Mm-hmm. Well, number one, being an example. I've been in law enforcement, like I said, almost 20 years. I've only been in 3 altercations. That's because the person just high on drugs, and this is how it's going to go down.
Right.
It's being able to talk to people because you're dealing with mental health. So you have to get that training on how to identify, just that component. So just learning how to talk to people, and you'll realize that just learning how to talk to people, man, that help a lot. It makes things a whole lot easier.
No, this has been good. It's so much to talk about. I really want to go on. You have to come back.
Yes, sir.
Join us.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it again. Tell the people how they can find.
Yes, you can find me on my website. On Facebook,
BrooksKeepMeSafe.com. So on Facebook, Brooks Keep Me Safe. You can also go to my website, brookskeepmesafe.com. Please leave a comment. You also find me on Facebook, Brooks from Baker Chief Police.
Brooks for Baker Chief of Police?
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. This has been another edition of the Guy Talk 5, where we are honest, open, and transparent. You can find us on all platforms at the Guy Talk 5. Thank you again for joining us. See you next time. Peace.
Thank you.